Welcome back. Thank you, Hilary Biller. You can get all of that in the Sunday Times food section. Pull out. Now, I was very excited this morning. Why? Because not only do we have one, but two awesome rides to get through this morning. Big fan of the ST. But we're going to get up to speed with all motorsport issues. And it sounds like the boys are being quite controversial this morning. Good morning, Chino and Gav.
Good morning, Graham.
How are you guys?
I know you're jealous right now because
we've got
two hot little things in the garage this morning. So let me introduce you to this.
Yes, now basically Formula One is a very, very stupid sport.
But that's why we love it so much.
It is why we love it. It's very talented people doing very silly things at very high speeds, which is just fantastic. And they thought, to commemorate their success at that, Renault thought, well, we're going to make a very silly Renault Clio.
So here it is. This is Clio's last hurrah. You might have seen in the news that the new Clio actually just broke cover. Yeah. So why are we bringing you this car? Well, this is kind of 7 years of evolution at its best. This is going to be, I'm almost willing to bet this is going to be a bit of a modern classic. Absolutely. Because we're not going to see cars like this anymore.
And we actually also can't give its full name, but it is the...
I think to give it its full name, we should say it's the Renault Sport Gordini RS Popular Brand of Energy Drink Edition.
It is indeed. And as
Very
we said,
limited numbers.
Renault they won two world titles when they made this, three subsequently.
Yes, with Sebastian Vettel at the wheel,
And as you say, this is naturally aspirated. The new one's going to be a turbo, same as Formula One is naturally aspirated, and the next season will be turbo.
That's a really good point. So naturally aspirated is just a technical way of saying that the engine breathes for itself, and a lot of drivers prefer that. They say the power delivery is smoother. They say it's a bit more drivable.
Absolutely.
But I mean, you quite like the gear change, but not the clutch.
Absolutely. I love the gear shift. It reminds me of another form of motorsport, touring cars and rally cars, where they have those kind of long, purposeful gear levers. It feels like that. But the clutch around town is just going to be a bit of a mission, because it's a bit jumpy. It's a competition clutch. It's what gets the car down.
A lot of this car is uncompromising. Those seats are probably wonderful if you're doing 200 kilometers an hour around the Nürburgring, but if you're just trying to get out of the car at Pick and Pay, it's actually really hard just to climb out of the thing.
I did wonder what the Austrian sports drink company's Formula One team made to do, what they did, what their involvement with this car was, and I think it might be the suspension.
Yes, look at that. You can't move
the car doesn't really move at all.
It's like a roller skate.
And what that means is it just handles phenomenally. Now, it gets 0 to 106.9 seconds. It goes on to 225 kilometers an hour. Yours for 300,000 Rand, but the figures don't really do it justice. This car is all about the drive.
This car provides a driving feel that I really think is sort of from a bygone era, actually.
Absolutely.
But the reason we brought this in, they're not exactly direct competitors, but the performance figures and the price on the Ford Focus ST are actually really similar. This will go for about 320,000 Rand.
Absolutely. So for 20,000 Rand more, you can have this.
Yes, and then you get 2 more doors. So it's a bargain.
And now Ford also, this has also got a bit of track heritage. I mean, Ford also, bless them, have always given us their rally and track cars and kind of just put them onto the road. And the Ford ST is from that long lineage of Ford Motorsport. So also has a fantastic chassis, not quite as tall as the Clio, which, as we said, has got the suspension of a skateboard, but this is a bit more family orientated, G.
It is. So as you can see, the latest Focus has got a bit fat, but that's not a bad thing, because engine technology has kept up, and you now get this really practical car. But I met a very interesting man this week. He actually happened to design the engine in this car, or at least lead the team that designed it. And we weren't talking about this car, we were talking about his Ferrari.
Absolutely. He's got a car collection, and he made the point that his Ferrari 308 GTB, the one Magnum drove.
Okay, so that's the one Magnum drove that South African audiences will know. It was all over our TV screens since the 80s.
Yes, absolutely. And that Ferrari has the same amount of power as this Ford Focus and goes as fast as it.
Same sort of performance figures. So basically, we're spoiled. We live in an age where you can sort of own a Ferrari from 30 years ago and get 3 kids in the back and all their stuff and have an absolute blast behind the wheel.
So if you watch Magnum like I did as a kid and you point to the screen and said, I want one of those, buy a Ford Focus.
That's exactly what we're saying.
We're truly living in a golden age of motoring. Chiro, out of the two, which one would you have?
Okay, if I had 300,000 Rand that I really didn't care about and I wouldn't know if it went missing, I would buy one of those on general principle.
Yes, I would like to, but I would look like a complete Birkin.
Yes, you would look very silly.
I would end up with the
car.
rather plump Ford Focus ST.
You know, the Ford, they've just done something so right with it. It makes a wonderful noise. I wouldn't
Absolutely.
mind going in a straight line a bit more when I
Yeah.
was accelerating, because all of the power going through those front wheels tends to make it a little bit
leery.
lively. Yeah,
Yes.
let's go with lively on the road. Yeah,
Absolutely.
but both cars hoots, absolute hoots to drive.
And again, both of them developed on the track, which is what we like.
Right, Graham, I think that's us. Back to you.
Oh man, you have made me suitably jealous, guys. Well done. Enjoy the drive this morning. And thank you so much for opening our eyes to what looks like an unbelievable driving experience. You can, of course, pick up the conversation with the boys. Overdrive TV on Twitter or overdrivetv.coza online. It's worth getting into a conversation with these guys. They'll teach you something new every day. Well, we're about to continue our education as men, moving from motoring to fashion. It's the Oscars, and you can expect the boys will be stepping out. The peacocks will be out in full flight. Never mind the women, the guys are also fashion conscious, and we're going to get a tip as well.
With a range of quality products guaranteed nationally, you will always find there's so much more to Midas.